Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey, welcome to Transformation Tuesdays over at Loving Me Before I Love You. You guys, this week we are talking about forging new family bonds, blending and building relationships. So the family dynamic is very diverse today as a whole, right? You have so many blended families due to broken families. And though we don't care to talk about the broken families as often as we probably should, what we don't hear, like hardly ever talk about, is blended families, the process of building a bond with the family that you didn't come from, the process of building a bond, be it through marriage, through adoption, through surrogacy. In other words, like I don't have any family available and I just kind of attach myself to friends and really building that bond with that new family. We don't talk about that process. We don't talk about what it's like. We don't talk about how it feels to be the one on the outside coming in. And we don't talk about what it feels like when you are the family that is now hosting this new person or persons, because it can be a whole group of people. So today I want to dive into that. I am from a blended family myself. My experience was not as pleasurable as I would have liked. However, it is still something that we have to discuss. And I have a guest with me today. Her name is Barbara. She does come from a blended family. She comes by way of foster care. However, she have multiple families because of her experience. So she has family from the foster care side. She has family from her biological side. And she just said to me earlier, she is a big sister on one end and a little sister on the other. Welcome to the show, Barbara.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you for coming. I do know that we're going to get into the fact that you have a book, and that's a part of the bigger reason of why you became my guest for this episode. But I want to just start diving into the nitty gritty. Let's start with your story. How did your blending, bonding journey begin?
So my blended bonding journey actually began, which is beautiful and challenging all at the same time. So on my biological side, I met my biological family 3 years ago after 60 years of being raised in the foster care system.
Wow.
And prior to that, blending and bonding with family was from my foster care family, my friends, and the communities that I have built, like my work family. They were all blended in to help, for lack of a better word, help build Barbara. Just to be honest, I would use my friends who, later on became family members, so I was raised from, I have my friends from kindergarten who were my built-in sisters, but in my foster care family, I had two brothers that I was raised with and a foster care sister, but she had left at a young age. So, which is not always practical, but all of these communities have strengthened my relationships, and strengthened my ties even with myself, learning about Barbara and who she likes to be aligned to, where she felt love from. you know.
Yes, that's very unique in itself because you were trying to find your way kind of by yourself, and,
Hmm.
like internally, versus someone born into a family and just kind of growing and learning the history from the individuals that they were, around. You
Right.
you really had to piece yours together in a sense of
Hmm.
togetherness, community, unity. Um, what were like some of the unexpected challenges that you faced in the early stages of like building the bond with people who were not a part of your bio? Yeah.
Um, some of the challenges I found more like with myself, like my honestly like my confidence, my self esteem, sometimes not feeling a part of, and it had really nothing to do with them. It really had something to do with myself, and that's the disconnect that I had from. I believe today from my biological family. So I never felt close even though I had people who loved me, but I didn't feel that I felt the love the way I needed. Like there was something missing and I couldn't put my finger on what, and my spirit knew it, but I couldn't really identify. At a young age, I was told that my family was not my family. And that might have made that disconnect even more disconnecting, you know?
Words are super powerful. People always
Yes.
say, sticks and stone may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And that's the biggest,
Yeah, but they do.
it's the biggest lie they ever told.
That's right.
Hearing that you could not be a part of something that you technically yearned for um, as a whole can be like dead stopping. You know what I mean? Like it can stop you in your tracks in that moment. And it's like how I bounce back from that.
Right.
Because
A
you,
lot of things, yeah, a lot of stuff stunts your emotional growth, and you don't even realize it until sometime maybe, or I should say I didn't realize it until maybe when I got older, where I didn't feel like emotionally stable
mm,
because certain things stunted my growth, and then along the way, addiction took over. So then I was really stunted back to, I started using drugs when I was 15, 16 years old, and I stopped at 40 something. But emotionally, I had not grown where I needed to be so I can handle certain things in life as they came towards me.
and, wow, that's an interesting like connection because we don't always think about the family connection, its impact on us individually from a standpoint of our emotional growth changes simply based upon how we stay connected or lack
Hmm.
thereof. You know,
Hmm.
I think a lot of times we immediately attach childhood trauma to the emotional growth being stunted, but connection can also be the piece to the emotional stunting. It's not just what somebody did to you emotionally or physically from an abuse or trauma perspective. It's like if I don't feel connected, and we are born to be connected. We are born for connection. Like if you don't have connection, you're really, really lost in this world. So that is definitely, and I'm like sitting here, my mind is like really going because I'm like, oh, even as a therapist, saying the connectivity piece attached to emotional stunting is very ooh aha moment because we are constantly always attaching things happening. Like you're in this space because something happened versus you're in this space because of lack of connection. That is nothing happened. And you can say, oh, well, it did happen. I mean, there was a disconnect, and that's what happened. But it's like, no, lack of connection doesn't per se say, oh, this happened to you. It just kind of like, it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Um, I was I was born in New York City in the hospital, and my mom left me there. So that bonding, that piece right there, and I don't know how long I was left there, but it was long enough for the hospital to name me, not her. So that bonding didn't come from the naturalness of how when we come into the world, you bond with the woman who carried you for all these months. But you know when do they name a baby? A day or two after? What's the time period of them naming? And obviously by them naming me after her, she had already left. So is that a day or is that 2 days? But I didn't get that nurturing that I needed from her. I got it from somewhere else who I was not connected to. Right? For 9 months, I've been connected to this one person, and now I'm out into the world. And then this is all my stuff. I've never had a child, but I'm old enough to know some stuff today. And so that disconnect happened way back then. Maybe when they disconnected the umbilical cord, or and I always said this too. Well, because she was on drugs, she wasn't connected. Even though I was in her belly, I was not connected because she was harming herself in the way. And that's because I'm an addict, a recovering addict, a woman in long-term recovery, and have worked in the field for so long. I have some experience on that side there, not on the side of carrying a child, but I can only have my own imagination about stuff.
I mean, but carrying a child is just like watching any other part of the world that duplicates an animal. I mean, anything that produces another seed, it's like this
Hmm.
process, right? There's still a level of connection that you create during that development season.
Right.
Baby developing in the womb of a mother, in the belly of a whale. Like, it's still a level of connection. You can watch animals give birth, be it a dog. Watch a dog
Hmm.
give birth and
Hmm. Hmm.
attached to its pups. Like, it's like you become protective. You become, like, like
Right.
a mama will
Right.
do something, right? But when you say a mom is sick, as you just mentioned with your mom being addicted to drugs, she herself was sick. So that connection may not have, as you say, taken place even on her end because she was disconnected from life as a whole.
Right.
So I completely understand that. I just hearing your story, in like you see even parallels for you and your mom, even without being connected to her.
There's a lot of there's a lot of parallels in my whole story from birth until even till now. And it's just you know I didn't learn about the significance of it or the depth of it until I found my biological family and be having the ability to talk with my other siblings, and to get to know my mom, who or my mother, who has since moved on. She died earlier, so I haven't met her. I didn't meet her, but I feel as though through them I know her.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in my heart of hearts, I know that she did the best that she could in her situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely not blessed. I'm not bitter with her. And I took that stance a long time ago, because being raised in New York City and being able to read the newspapers or see the news, I saw where women were, what they were doing with babies. And, I was very, very fortunate and blessed to be able to be in the hospital and go, directly to a foster care situation, family. But I got with my family at the age of 2. So I was shuffled around for a couple, 2 years of my life, from birth to 2 years, which is, that's a lot of disconnect or non-bonding. But there's a lot of parallels with, and I'm grateful for them too. I'm grateful to find out about them. Like my mom who raised me and my mother who gave birth to me share the same middle name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, and where I was raised at and where my biological mother hung out at a family house was only 7 minutes away from where I lived,
So that,
you know. Yeah, yeah. The brother that I was raised with, my older brother, and my biological baby brother has the same name. My best friend from kindergarten and my biological mother share the same birthday.
oh, wow.
So it's a lot of parallels, which tells me in my heart of hearts that she's always been with me. We just didn't have a face for one another, but we were always surrounded around each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, both of us being women who suffer with the disease of addiction, we had that.
Mm-hmm.
And trauma that she had experienced at a young age. I experienced trauma. I experienced trauma of just finding out that I was a foster child. That was trauma in itself. Her at a young age, at 15, she saw her mom die, which was my grandmother. So we've had, we have a lot of alignment with one another.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Was your change, your age of change too?
Yes.
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 So that's a lot. That's a lot. Where did boundaries come in play for your relationships when you were building them? Did you have boundaries? Or did you not?
Growing up, I did not. I knew nothing of them. So when you don't know anything of them, you don't know how to place them. You just have no line. You just allow people to come across and do what they do, which even today at 64, my boundaries are still very limited. Like I don't know, like when somebody crosses them,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be like a hard punch, which should not be. I should be able to recognize it way before, but sometimes I don't. I mean, I'm getting better because I'm getting better in certain areas with boundaries, but then I still see where there's more work to be done. So not having that line or developing that line when I was younger, so I could be able to tell people stop, like no, you're hurting me, or no, I that's not what I want to do. I still have that people pleasing stuff going on, and that's because of me still not having the ability, and it's alignment with still wanting to be accepted, still wanting to be connected to someone, and don't leave because of my inability to accept or be this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in alignment with that there,
Yeah.
and it's constant work.
Yeah. The first, and this is, on topic, off topic, all at the same, but
I'm sorry if I am.
oh no, no, I'm saying me. Um, because my therapist hat always kicks in. It is never going anywhere. It's a part of who I am. So the first thing in order to grow that space in your life is to accept yourself, right? It's not, people pleasing comes from the lack of self, right? The lack of self fulfillment and knowing that you want to be accepted by others, picked by others, um, says, I haven't picked me.
Thank you. Thank you.
So when you accept you, when you pick you, their pick doesn't matter.
Right.
The,
Right.
the whole premise of my show is about self-love and how
Mm-hmm.
to every area of our lives. And right now we're connecting it to how does it connect to family and the bonds that we create. Do we just do it because they're family, or do we do it in alignment with who we are?
Right. Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
in order to assist yourself in growing and developing healthy boundaries, one, you have to have self-awareness and pick yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in picking you, decide what is allowed for you.
Right.
And you set these healthy boundaries, and you teach people how to treat you, and you teach people how to love you. But you do that with how you love you. You do it with how you treat you. Sometimes in the very beginning, you're going to have to say those boundaries out loud. Sometimes you're going to have to tell them, you know, my boundary is that I protect my time. So I'm not going to talk to you for 2 hours. I'm only giving you 30 minutes, and
Right.
stick to your 30
Right.
minutes, you know, or I don't deal with negativity. That's a boundary for me. If you calling me with negative information, you can save it. So these are the things that you have to be able to identify for you and then
Mm-hmm.
to others. But you have to
Right.
the boundary. You have to.
Right.
There's no thing of, oh, I don't know they've crossed. You mentioned you don't know they've crossed it until you feel in a space of like back against the wall. Wait, wait, wait. You've gone too far, but that's because you didn't set one.
Right. Right.
So they technically hadn't crossed anything. There was nothing set.
Okay.
You just reached a point of it's too much for me.
Right.
But had you put something in place, you would have known when they crossed it because you would have set the line.
Right. Okay.
The line is like the trigger. Like, oh, you've crossed. No, back that back up. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
crossing it. But you set those things too. So you
Right.
become more deliberate about you and then decide, hey, this is where I'm operating out of. If you can't align,
Right.
then you have to go.
Right.
And be okay with losing people. Because once you start accepting you, people are going to
Mm-hmm.
fall off because they can't accept the new you. They can't accept the version. They can accept hearing what you think you're going to do. If
Right.
you do it, then it becomes a problem.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Anyway.
I wrote that down too. I wrote some stuff down. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, growth is due for everybody. Growth is not,
Yeah.
we all can grow and learn from people. Everything happens for a reason. You align with those that are meant to give you the pieces and tools necessary for your life to be better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Open to receive and know what you need.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll get rid of that people pleasing real quick. Real quick. Because people
Yeah.
pleasing is not, it's like when you hear the word people pleasing, the first thing that comes to my mind is why.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I trying to please you at the same state of displeasing myself?
Right. Right. Right.
I said the other day, we are overly considerate of other people to the detriment of being inconsiderate of ourselves. That's a problem.
Mm. Mm.
That is a problem. And we have to stop. We cannot continue to put everybody before us, and it's to our detriment. It's not about being selfish. It's not about being inconsiderate of them, period. Right? But it is about saying, I cannot pour from an empty cup. I have to fill myself first. And no is a sentence.
Right.
And I can tell you no gracefully. If I'm tired and don't feel like getting up to attend your function, I will politely say, thanks for considering me and thinking about me. It makes my heart smile that my
Right.
name crossed your mind when you were planning your event. But unfortunately, I will not be able to make it.
Right. Right.
And I'm not going to feel bad about telling you no.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Because my no to you is a yes to me.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that has to be something that we are okay with.
Wow, today's episode is a good one. I know you're enjoying it, and we'll get back to it shortly. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that Tammy would love for you to share any questions, comments, or topic ideas you have with her. All you have to do is send them to her in an email to podcast@IamTammyNicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
So even when we are learning how to build bonds with blended families, having boundaries is important, and being able to foster connection without losing yourself is
Mm-hmm.
important. Like, no, we didn't come from the same bloodline, but I could still love you and get to know you and build a connection with you without losing who I am just to say I'm connected. You know what I mean? Like, oh, a couple is getting married and you're now the siblings of new siblings, and that mom, if it's your dad that's marrying the mom or what have you, it's like, hey, my family, we do Thanksgiving like this, right? Whatever that Thanksgiving tradition is, or whatever Christmas.
Right.
And you may have grown up with your own mom and your own traditions of, I don't know, let's go with Christmas. Opening up Christmas gifts, one Christmas gift on Christmas Eve, and you open up the rest Christmas Day.
Right.
Now that you're in this new family where there's a bonus mom, still your dad, and she doesn't do things that way, do you have to now conform and lose your way? Or is there a way to have a conversation that says, hey, I understand this is not your way, but this is a part of me. And I would like to be able to do X, Y, and Z without just automatically saying her way or the highway. You know what I mean? Like, we have to communicate what our needs are, because that very thing, I don't know, maybe her mom passed away. That very thing could be something that connects her to who she is. But understanding who you are is the key.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think it's, my perspective, everybody can have a different one. But how, it's just more about how do I stay true to me and learn to bond
Yes.
with the new group, with a new set of people who may not have come from the same lineage of doing it.
Right.
So, tell me a little bit more about that journey into finding your bio family. Like, how did that process go of connecting? Like, do you feel as close to them as you do your foster family?
So I honestly feel closer to them than my foster family. And I think some of the reasoning is we look alike. Some of our mannerisms are the same. Some of the things that they like, I like, that are somewhat natural, ingrained in us. Like, our grandfather was a musician. And what I find so connecting to us is that we all love music. Like my sister and I. My sister is she's 70. She might be 72 and I'm 64.
Mhm.
And we both like to sing in the car with music. So that just connects us more. We both have that, and that's ingrained in us, I believe, and even her kids and her kids' kids. So my nieces and my great nieces and nephews have it as well. And you know, I think just our personalities,
Mhm.
not just like what we like or dislike, but our facial expressions, our maybe the way we walk, you know, that's all connecting. That's
Yeah,
all connection
we're
for
looking
us.
for. You
Yes.
were looking for, you found, which allowed you to gravitate more to people
Yes.
because you felt like it was your missing puzzle piece.
Yes. And they will say in a heartbeat that you are the missing piece to our family connection, and or you were, and that just does something to my whole soul, like
You feel accepted, desired.
yes, yes.
Yeah. But
I feel valued, I feel loved, and they they show it. Like, like show and tell, they show and they tell. And it's like, even talking about it, I get this feeling like inside, like it's on the edges of my nerves, that connection that we have with one another,
mhm.
so it's something that has been missed all my life, and now that it's here, I'm just so aligned with them that I find myself like I made a little pact with myself, like every 4 months I'm going to visit them. They live in Milwaukee. I have my closest live about 3 hours, my brother, but most of my family is in Milwaukee. So I go, I get energized. It's like a reset
Mhm.
in everything, like being around them. I need it.
Yeah. What is your relationship like now with your foster family?
So I only have my foster brother, and so my parents are deceased, and my older brother is deceased. So I just have one, and him and I we're okay. He was my abuser growing up,
Mm.
so I still deal with that. He was my physical abuser. I still deal with that, and I make myself available to him. He had brain surgery maybe like 2 years ago, and he has no one to help him. But I'm here, like I'm 15 minutes away from where he lives at. We're close, I call him. I help to take care of him by taking him food shopping at least once a month, but we talk like every other day, and it's not like deep long conversations, but just to check on him, make sure he's okay if he need anything. But it's not that brother sister bond that I grew up with. I feel more connected to my biological family who live far away from me than the one who lived closer to me that I grew up with.
Have,
And I still,
have you guys addressed the abuse portion, or did you just?
yeah, we have, and yep, he has apologized and stuff like that. But when someone's actions are different than what they're saying, that spirit creeps back up inside of me. It's like I could feel it through sometime through his um loud talking.
Mhm. It's your trigger.
And so yeah, so I feel little triggers, and it's not Not that there's little or big triggers. It's not triggering me enough where I go and hurt myself. It triggers me enough to say there's still work to be done in that area, Barbara. You still have more stuff to do in that area, And with him, I have set boundaries. Like I don't when he needs something to be done, I don't automatically drop and say, yeah, I can do it right now. I always put in place, well, let me check my calendar to see what I can do and when I can do it. And that's for protection of myself,
And when you,
protection of my of being triggered, and I knowing what I need to be doing. Like I'm in a state where let me take care of myself first of what I got to do before I put somebody else before I got to do for somebody else. I need to take care of myself. So my calendar says you have a photo shoot because I'm a professional photographer as well. So I'm just going to use this. You have a photo shoot in the morning. Okay, so that's not the day that you can handle him and your photo shoot. And so putting in place actually protects me, and that's where that's where I make my boundaries at. So it's not always setting boundaries across the board with everybody and anybody, but definitely his ass. I make that.
but that's because of the dynamics of that relationship. Because I was
Yes.
say what kept you connected. Like if you had the turmoil and the abuse with him, what kept you still in connection once you found your actual bio family?
Um, you know, familiarity. I grew up with him. And another part of that, and I don't say this out loud, but his mother and father took me in.
You still love him.
And I still have love for him. I just don't like him.
Yeah.
I love him, but I don't like him. And um, with my parents, would my parents be disapproval of me not helping him? Yes. And I mean, he has a son, but he doesn't live here. He doesn't live 15 minutes away from us. And God left us two here for a reason. What that reason is, I don't know. It's about, but he's family, and nobody should be without. When I came into this world, God had already lined up for me to have somebody.
Yeah.
It might have taken 2 years for us to get connected, me to get connected with a raising family, but God had somebody in store for me.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't be because of what he has done to me growing up. He should not be like I should have forgiveness for him.
Yes, you should.
I have been forgiven for all my faculties. Like I'm not a perfect person. So, yeah.
Awesome. So sometimes it's enough. You ask, is love enough to keep certain things intact? Sometimes it is, because it's pure love, be it of his actual biological parents, but it's also loving him regardless of the transactions that have taken place within the relationship. There's still a foundation of what we call pure love.
Right.
So all of that does matter. So tell us a little bit about your book, why you wrote it, what it means to you, and then like how people can find it.
So, my book is called Blessed Not Bitter, The Barbara McClane Journey. And it takes you through, unfolding events of trauma, through addiction, through jail, through sexual abuse, through dropout, through first pregnancies, abortions, finding out my family's not my family, through through graduating from a drug treatment program after 2 years, receiving my high school diploma while I was in treatment, coming through jail, surviving a lifestyle on the streets, being a runaway, a teenage runaway, to finding recovery, building a whole life from being clean from substance abuse, being a homeowner, being a wife, finding love, finding myself, finding my family,
Yeah.
navigating through not having that parental guidance at a young, I lost my mom when I was 23. I lost my father when I was 37. Having some parental guidance, but not having it on hand fully. There's have been significant women in my life who made an impact, talking about them, having friendships from kindergarten that I value, finding family in other families, all through that, raising myself in certain areas, protecting myself when I needed to be protected, retiring through the state of Connecticut after a long history of work, finding stability finally in life, helping others, being strong in the community, aligning my spirit with things that make me feel good inside, like helping others.
Yeah. That is so awesome. And I'm sure it's an amazing read. So tell them where they can find it.
So the Blessed Not Bitter, the Barbara McClane journey can be found on Amazon.com and BarnesandNobles.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I want you to do one thing. I want you to finish this sentence and then we're going to be out. Blending a family has taught me that love is
Unconditional.
That's awesome. And I 100% agree. If you guys have made it this far to the end of this episode, first, I'm saying thank you. Second, don't forget to follow this channel. Hit the subscribe button. Send us a message. If you would like coaching, send me an email to coaching@IamTammyNicole.com. Barbara, your story is amazing. It's phenomenal. I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Thanks again for joining us. And you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you.
All right.
That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you'd like her to answer, please head over to www.IamTammyNicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.